I am Professor Martina Newell McGloughlin, and I direct the International Biotechnology Program at the University of California, Davis. People have been introducing novel traits into crop plants for about 10,000 years now. Of course, the technologies over the last 100 years have become much more sophisticated than some of the older technologies. But in fact, the modern technology being used, which is broadly called biotechnology, is in fact far more precise, far more predictable, and far more controlled than any of the older technologies that were used to introduce quality traits into our crops. So there's a far greater degree of predictability and precision in our current methods of introducing these valuable traits into crop plants. For all of those crops that we have developed over the last 10,000 years, most of those crops, in fact, do not need pre-approval before they're commercialized. So the modern products of crop biotechnology are more thoroughly tested than any crops in the history of agriculture. In fact, for any one of these products to get through commercialization, they have to undergo about 10 to 15 years of research. And this research is overseen by major regulatory agencies throughout the world. The principal framework is an organization called Codex Alimentarius, and this is run by the FAO and the World Health Organization to basically set international standards for quality control in food products. And under this international regulatory structure, the US has three principal agencies that look out for our health. And that is the US Department of Agriculture, the US Environmental Protection Agency, and the US Food and Drug Agencies. All of the food crops that we eat are actually made up of genes that code for proteins that provide the structure for these crop products. So every day when you eat your fruits and your veggies, you are eating proteins and DNA and other nucleic acids. So these genes actually provide the blueprint that designs the specific qualities that are in your food crops. And these have been assessed for safety by all of the regulatory agencies to ensure that the products that you eat from biotechnology sources are as safe as any of the conventionally produced crop products. DNA is the blueprint that provides the information that allows crops to produce fruits and vegetables that we eat. These are the basic building blocks that actually code for the structures that provide the nutrients that we need to survive and thrive. So DNA and genes are in all food. And in fact, using modern techniques, we are much more capable of determining exactly what genes code for exactly what proteins and what specific traits we want. So all of the genes that are introduced into crop plants to produce these novel, valuable traits are tested to ensure that they are safe. So the type of tests that are done are specifically to look for such issues as potential allergens, or toxins, or anti-nutrients. So all of these crops that are produced using modern biotechnology techniques are very thoroughly assessed over a 10 to 15 year period. And the types of research that's done is looking into the source of the gene, what this gene codes for, basically the products of this gene, and the types of concerns that would be looked at would be potential for allergenicity, toxicity, and anti-nutrients. And in no instance does any product go forward where there is any concern under any of those issues. So there are various regulatory agencies in all of the countries where these products have been approved. And there is also a worldwide authority where you basically get consensus across the various methods that are used to test for these types of concerns. So the principal international agency is Codex Alimentarius, and this was set up by the FAO and the World Health Organization to make sure that you had internationally recognized standards and guidelines for food safety. The genes that are used to introduce novel, valuable traits into our crop products have been thoroughly assessed by international agencies, by our own US regulatory agencies. These tests have been validated by teams of experts all over the world, and these foods are more thoroughly tested than any in the history of crop food production.